What's going on, guys? Back up here once again. Been a long time coming, but I'm finally up here to give you my full breakdown, review, and reactions for the amazing Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania 33. The post-Raw after WrestleMania is always infamous for being a very good show, and this year certainly didn't disappoint, I have to say, compared to last year's, which I thought was good, but not quite as good as previous editions. This year's definitely outdid last year's. There were a number of surprise returns, moments, memories. It was just a crazy, fun 3 hours of wrestling. The Monday after Mania, as I call WrestleMania Monday, because anything and everything can happen on that post-Mania Raw. We certainly got a ton of surprises this year. And without further ado, let's go into in-depth and review the April 3rd, 2017 edition of Monday Night Raw. Of course, a raucous crowd, and the way that this show kicked off the air, it started with respect. 5+ minutes of love and adulation. Thank you, Undertaker chants started off Monday Night Raw, and it still hurts to know that we saw The Undertaker wrestle his last match, but all I have to say is thank you, Undertaker, as I said in my WrestleMania review. Thank you, Undertaker, for all of the wonderful moments and memories throughout your 26, I believe, plus year career. It was an honor for me to see you wrestle on the grandest stage of them all at WrestleMania 29 versus CM Punk. That was a moment that I'll never forget. And see you wrestle Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. So I got to see The Undertaker wrestle twice. Very grateful for that opportunity. And I saw him live in Pittsburgh, I believe twice. I want to say in 2013, in the build-up to Punk. And in 2016, in the build-up to WrestleMania 32. So I had that opportunity. And now looking back, those moments are forever special. As you can see, I got my Undertaker poster right there. And he'll always be one of my all-time favorites, and I cannot wait. He'll probably headline the 2018 Hall of Fame, as he should. So waiting for that moment for his Hall of Fame speech is going to be something amazing. So thank you, Taker. The fans showed him the adulation and the respect that he has earned and deserved. It's the greatest gimmick, it's the greatest character that Vince McMahon ever created. In my opinion, one of the all-time greats. Thank you, Undertaker. Thank you. And then Roman Reigns comes down to the ring, and he had that crowd he did have the crowd in the palm of his hand, because every time they gave this guy nuclear freaking heat, and I thought this worked. So what happened here, and how he just smiled and was arrogant, that is the Roman Reigns I want to see going forward. If you're not going to turn him heel, well, then at least turn up the arrogance, because he played off of it very well, I thought. He didn't say hardly a single word. Every time he put the microphone up to his mouth, the boos got worse and worse, and it was something to behold. I loved it. I think he was clearly loving it. I mean, I have not seen a nuclear-type heat reaction like this in many, many years, and it was something true to behold. I mean, hey, you got to give the guy credit. At least he's getting that type of reaction. It's not the reaction they want, but I think you got to go with this. And all Reigns said was, this is his yard now. And mic drop left. And I have to say it was one of the best Roman Reigns promos I've seen. So a great way to kick off Monday Night Raw. Just from one end of the spectrum to the other. It was, I just haven't seen a crowd reaction like that in quite some time. So something to truly behold. We then had a solid Raw Tag Team Championship match between the returning Hardy Boys, their first match on Raw in, I believe, 9+ years. That is hard to believe. They took on Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Just some good tag team work from the Club versus the Hardys. I mean, who thought we'd see that match in WWE? Let alone this year in 2017, but it was a good, solid match. A couple good near-fall spots here, which Jeff hit the twist of fate on Luke Gallows, and he hit the leg drop on Carl Anderson at the same time. And then Jeff used the steel steps to set up Poetry in Motion, but Carl Anderson cut him off there, and Jeff went up. Matt hit the second twist of fate, on Luke Gallows, and Jeff hit Swanton Bomb on Gallows for the win. So it'll be interesting to see where the Hardys go from here, if they, eventually morph into their broken characters. But it's just great to have Jeff and Matt Hardy back, particularly in the tag team division where they made their names. They laid their groundwork for what was eventually to come in their respective singles careers. But I think they're a great addition to the Raw tag team division. Instantly add credibility and much needed depth. So, it was just great stuff from the Hardys. Great to see them back on Monday Night Raw. Crowd was loving the delete chants. It was fun. We then had Neville come out, the king of the cruiserweights, and was more of a Wade Barrett impersonation, but whatever. He said, you may not like his tactics, but you can't deny the results that Neville defeated Austin Aries, utilized Aries' previously injured orbital eye socket. I thought they had a really good match on the pre-show at WrestleMania, and spoiler alert, last night on 205 Live, Austin Aries became again, the number one contender to Neville's Cruiserweight Championship. So I look forward, like I said, I want to see these two have a series of matches. If that continues at Payback and what have you, I think that would be great. Just have these two continue. I'd love to see them in a best-of-7 series because I think Neville and Aries, could truly tear the house down if given the right time and opportunity on these upcoming pay-per-views. So look forward to seeing that match. Again, if that's at Payback, which I think it will be. Like I said, it's a fresh feud, fresh match, and it's the right feud going forward for the Cruiserweight division. And then eventually Neville was interrupted by Mustafa Ali, and they went out there, and despite the crowd, being more invested in playing with the beach ball, and I know they like to have fun and what have you, and that was okay. Focusing on the match itself, which I was trying to pay attention to, I thought this was a solid match between Neville and Mustafa Ali. They kind of lost the crowd, but they eventually, I thought, were able to get them invested back into it. Ali really impressed me with his moves and his versatility in that ring. I think a program between him and Neville, if you build Ali up, get us to know more about his character and who he is and why he's here, he could definitely be, I wouldn't say, a major star, but, definitely could climb up the ranks in the Cruiserweight division. And they need to get guys like this on a roll with some momentum. I think Cedric Alexander's another guy when he returns from injury. You have Tozawa. You have guys in this division now. You have to make them, get them over with the crowd, invested in their character and reasons to care. And Ali, I thought, was very impressive in this match. I liked when Neville was going to tease hitting the red arrow, but he's the heel, so what does the heel do? Now the crowd's going to cheer for that, so why would you hit a move that the crowd is going to cheer for? You do not want to give them a reason to cheer. And I feel like we see that a lot with heels. They're the cool heel, but they're not really a heel because they're getting cheered. But Neville was smart here in not going for the red arrow, and he locked in the Rings of Saturn for the submission victory. Solid cruiserweight match between Neville and Mustafa Ali. We then had a limo pull up backstage, and then Vincent Kennedy McMahon would appear. Vince McMahon made his return to Monday Night Raw. Definitely didn't see this happening. And when Vince shows up, business is gonna pick up. And it most certainly did. First, Vince came down to the ring, and they said Roman sucks at Vince. And I just had to laugh here. I thought, wow, that was really good. Vince pretty much said that there's going to be a Superstar Shakeup. And huge announcement that nobody really saw coming. And I was like, wow, I had a feeling we'd, be seeing a potential draft down the line, whether that would be, I assumed that would be in, the summer, perhaps in June or July when they had the previous last draft. But no, Vince came out and he said next Monday, it's going to start. There is going to be a massive Superstar Shakeup. And, hey, I'm all for, shaking things up. There's certain moves that I feel, need to be made. And pulling up the article right here, if you give me a second. This is what it says in the article. So it said, Mr. McMahon announced that he has also conferred with lead representatives from Raw and SmackDown And that includes Kurt Angle and Daniel Bryan, who are already in ongoing discussions with each other regarding next week's Superstar movement. Chairman will be granting both sides an opportunity to make trades and deals and moves that they feel fit. There are many potential maneuvers that could happen, so it will start up next week. We'll have to see who's going where. Might do a video on that, might not, so I'll get back to you on that. But, hey, I'm excited to see who goes where. There's a number of different possibilities. And then the big announcement was made. Vince said, my daughter Stephanie was horrifically put through a table at WrestleMania. And the crowd went, yes, yes, yes. And I went, yes, 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 because the bitch got served. That's what you get for making everybody's life a living freaking hell. I love seeing Stephanie go through that table. Hopefully that puts her on the shelf for weeks and weeks to come, so we don't have to see this annoying woman on TV. So that means we have no commissioner or GM, and then Vince was going to surprise us with the announcement of a man who was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And I loved what they did here. Teddy's long music hit, and I was just like, oh my God. It's going to be holla, holla, holla playing. Teddy comes out, he's dancing, and we're like, yeah, it's going to be Teddy Long. And Vince was like, what are you doing? It's not you. And Teddy says, my bad, holla, holla, holla player. Teddy Long goes back. And then Vince announces that Kurt Angle, it's true, it's damn true, is the new GM of Monday Night Raw. It was rumored for weeks and weeks and weeks. You know, with the whole Foley thing, we knew he was getting fired. And for it to be Kurt Angle, I fucking love it. Being as I'm from Pittsburgh, I'm a little biased, but it's Kurt freaking Angle. Just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. I had a feeling this would be the role that they had for him, and it was something to behold. It was great to see Kurt back, and got an amazing reaction. And I think he's the right guy going forward. Now, just have it be Kurt. We don't need Stephanie there every week and creating chaos and conflict between her and Kurt. Now, just have Kurt be the general manager. And Stephanie pop up from time to time for a big decision. Less of her. Actually, less of the authority figures in general. But if you're going to have a good, Kurt as a babyface authority figure, I think that's best for the Raw brand going forward. And it already made for good television last night. His interactions with Enzo and Cass, I thought it made me laugh. I mean, it was actually, Kurt gets timing and comedy and facial, everything about that was just really good stuff. And, he brought a presence of legitimacy. Kurt is somebody that, not saying that Foley didn't do that, but the way that they just emasculated him. I do not want to see Stephanie McMahon do the same shit to Kurt Angle. That is my only fear, my only worry. Do not do that. Just let Kurt go out there and make the matches. That's all. And like I said, I liked what they did with him tonight. Continue to do that going forward. Comedy with Kurt is amazing. He gets it. It's great. And the show continued from here. We had the New Day come out. They threw down an open challenge. And who would answer their open challenge? But say yeah, we go hard all day, all night. Da, 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 da. You know who it is. It's the Revival. The former NXT Tag Team Champions made their Monday Night Raw debut. And it was, it was something to behold. Finally, long awaited. I thought they were going to SmackDown. But hey, they're on Raw. And if the Raw Tag Team division holds up after this Superstar Shakeup, boy, oh boy, New Day, Revival, the Hardy Boys, Anderson and Gallows, Sheamus and Cesaro, Enzo and Cass. Raw is loaded when it comes to the tag team division, and the Revival had a good match with the New Day, and the right team won. The Revival went over with the Shatter Machine on Xavier Woods. They get the win, and afterwards I like the fact that they beat down Kofi Kingston, and they did a nice ankle stop off the top rope. The Revival, one of the best tag team specialists in this industry, and much needed depth for the tag team scene on both shows, whether they end up stay on Raw or go to SmackDown with the Superstar Shakeup. It's great. You got the Hardys and the Revival up here. Boy, oh boy, does that help that tag team division scene. That is just great stuff. And like I said, we had this fun backstage segment with Kurt Angle, new GM of Raw, Enzo and Cass. It was just great back and forth comedy. Angle said pretty much told Enzo and Cass that tonight you're going to have a number one contenders match to determine who will face the Hardys down the line. It's going to be Enzo and Cass versus Sheamus and Cesaro. And when Enzo and Cass were doing their shtick, I only got one word to describe them: SAWFT, soft. And then Kurt said, "That's not how you spell soft." I just cracked up. This was great stuff between Enzo and Cass and Kurt Angle. We then had a 6 women's tag team match. Solid match here with the finally, after months and months and months and months, and it seemed like months, Emma returned and made her re-debut on Monday Night Raw as Evil Emma. And if that's what they're going to do with Emma going forward, I love it. It was Bayley, Dana Brooke, and Sasha Banks teaming up to take on Charlotte, Emma, and Nia Jax, and solid work from all 6 women involved, and it was just great to see Emma back where she belongs on television. I don't know why they waited, it felt like months and months. She was ready to go, she was just waiting around, but they debuted her here. She got a nice pop, and Bayley, Dana Brooke, and Sasha Banks got the win after Charlotte attempted to hit the natural selection on Sasha Banks, and Sasha reversed it into the Banks statement for the win. And then afterwards, Nia Jax would attack and lay Charlotte out. So we'll have to see with the Superstar Shakeup, but it looks like we could possibly be getting a Charlotte and Nia Jax feud. Okay, that's something different, interesting. Nia still needs work, and if you put her in there with somebody like Charlotte, who is she's still young. She just turned 31 today, so happy birthday to Charlotte. But she is one of the best women's wrestlers on that roster, and I feel like that could help Nia Jax, greatly. Nia's very green, still green, but in time, I think she will grow into the superstar that I know that she can be. And then perhaps we could see an Emma Bayley feud for the Raw Women's Championship. All right, there's some interesting stuff going on right there. Question is, what do you do with Sasha Banks? I still think the heel turn's coming. Didn't happen tonight. I was hoping for it, or should I say on Monday. But we'll see what happens going forward. We had a backstage segment with Sami Zayn talking to Kurt Angle and saying, how he's going to have a similar relationship with Angle as he did with Mick Foley. How he looks up to Angle, and, Jinder Mahal comes in and talks about the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. Probably the weakest part of the show was Sami versus Jinder Mahal. I definitely have to make a prediction. I hope Sami Zayn is one of the people moved to SmackDown Live, because I just feel he's lost in the shuffle on Raw. They don't know what to do with him. And I feel he could greatly benefit by being on SmackDown Live. There's just, as Shane said, it's a land of opportunity. So hopefully we see Sami Zayn move over to Tuesday nights. We then had the Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar, your new Universal Champion, come down to the ring with Paul Heyman, and Heyman did what he does best. He cut a masterful promo on the mic. He talked about how there was this man, Goldberg, who fancied himself as a superhero, and then one day, this superhero took a spear and jackhammer into town, and he said Goldberg took everything from the villagers, including the Universal Championship, and then Goldberg took a left turn through the Ultimate Thrill ride that led him directly to Suplex City. And when the superhero went to Suplex City, Paul said he got his ass kicked. And then he said, you won't see Bill Goldberg around here anymore. And Heyman says Lesnar's looking for new challengers, whether that is Matt Hardy or Jeff Hardy. Hell, you could put both of the Hardy boys together and they still wouldn't be enough to take down Brock Lesnar. And then eventually Heyman brought up the giant elephant in the room. He said, now that there are two people that have soundly defeated The Undertaker at WrestleMania, Heyman hyped up, it's going to be, the 2 in 23-2. And Lesnar said, Heyman said, if Reigns is the big dog, Lesnar is animal cruelty. And he was calling out Reigns right here, right now for a fight, but instead, Braun Strowman's music hit. Strowman and Lesnar go face-to-face, and Strowman said Reigns has Lesnar's attention, but after Strowman is done with Reigns, then maybe Strowman will have Lesnar's attention. So, teasing a match between Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar. It's a match I want to see, whether you save that for SummerSlam or perhaps one of these Raw exclusive pay-per-views coming up. I don't know. Lesnar was advertised for the Payback material, so we'll have to see where they go. I was hoping for Lesnar versus Balor. They could still do that. I mean, Finn debuted. And you think about it, he would be the rightful number one contender, seeing as how he was stripped of the Universal Championship. So maybe you do Lesnar-Balor, then you could do maybe Lesnar-Rollins again to fill that gap, from Payback, and then you got the June pay-per-view, and then you need one more opponent for if he's going to work, I hope he does. At least 2 out of the 3. And I just don't want to see Brock disappear and only work SummerSlam. That would just be too long of a gap. We've seen this before. Let's see where they go. I mean, he was in the promotional material for Payback. I think he'll be at the show, but we'll have to see. So Lesnar laid the belt down in the ring, and he told Strowman, "Come on, you want to take it from me?" And Strowman just walked away, and I didn't like that. I was hoping maybe he would stand up to Lesnar and they'd have a pull apart. But my only negative, I liked the interaction, the face-off stare down with Strowman, but I didn't like that he walked away. So minor nitpick from that segment. And then I really love this interview with Jericho. We know his run's coming to an end, so each of these appearances get more and more special. He's probably finishing up at Payback. He said that he's going to have the rematch with Kevin Owens for the United States Championship. Would like to see a stipulation added to that match. And Jericho says he has all the international friends of Jericho, and they're going to cheer him on, man. And he said tonight is the night for Jericho to get his revenge on Owens, because it was going to be a tag team match featuring Jericho and Rollins taking on Owens and Joe. Jericho said he's going to start with the tip of Owens' finger, because it looked like Jericho had Owens beat. It was in the walls of Jericho, and Owens put his fingertip on the rope. That was a great moment from WrestleMania. And you know what happens when you put your fingertip on the ropes? You know what happens? Kevin Owens' fingertip? You just made the list! And I was like, oh my God, I never thought we'd see the day that Kevin Owens' fingertip made the list. What a world we're living in. Anything can go on the list. I mean, I have my list. Who knows? We'll see what'll go on that. But then Owens and Joe would team up, double team, beat down Chris Jericho and lay him out and put him through a table. And that got me thinking. So who's going to be Seth Rollins' partner now? And Angle said, we're going to have to find you a new partner, Seth. I was like, awesome. Because I knew who was going to be his partner. We then had a Raw Tag Team number 1 contenders match. Cesaro and Sheamus versus Enzo and Big Cass, who were surprisingly booed in this match. I take that up to the fact that it was the pro-European crowd. They were more behind Sheamus and Cesaro. It was just something weird to see. You never really usually saw that. So, due to the fact that the crowd was more in line for Sheamus and Cesaro, all right, right call here, having them go over on Enzo and Cass. Possibly Enzo and Cass go to SmackDown. I could see that happening. I definitely could after tonight. But yeah, the crowd was, they were doing all types of crazy chants for Sheamus and Cesaro. Solid tag team match. Cesaro tossed Enzo off the top rope into a Swiss Death uppercut for the win. So looks like Cesaro and Sheamus are going to be the next challengers for the Hardy Boys for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Look forward to a match, possibly a Payback against them. I think it'll be great stuff. So yeah. Like I mentioned, Sami Zayn versus Jinder Mahal, definitely the lowest point of the show. Sami got the win via the Helluva Kick. And then we had our main event. Main event was Seth Rollins and Finn Balor makes his long-awaited return to Monday Night Raw. Boy, it was great to see Finn back. Got a tremendous reaction from the crowd. Even though, logically, would he really want to team up with Seth after he injured him at SummerSlam? We'll have to see where that story plays out. But Balor made his return to take on Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens. Really good main event match. It was great to see Balor back in there working all of his spots. Seemed like he never lost a beat. It's just great to have Finn Balor back on Monday Night Raw. Balor, towards the end of the match, as Owens attempted to hit the pop-up powerbomb, countered and hit the sling blade on Kevin Owens. Joe attempted to lock in the Coquina clutch, but Rollins was able to hit the springboard knee on Samoa Joe, taking him out. Owens hit the super kick on Rollins, and Owens turned around and he hit a tornado drop kick, and Balor went up to the top rope, hit the coup de grace. Balor and Seth Rollins win, and they are left standing tall to close out a truly fantastic episode of Monday Night Raw. This is going to be the best episode of the year. Boy, it was great stuff. It was great seeing Finn Balor return, the Revival make their debut, Kurt Angle announced as the GM, the Roman Reigns opening segment, the Hardy Boys. I could go on and on and on. Emma returning. Just a lot of great stuff on this edition of Monday Night Raw, as it usually is post-WrestleMania. So my final grade for Monday night's edition of Raw, A+. I'm giving this show an A+. Go out of your way to watch this show if you haven't watched it already. Great stuff. And what a WrestleMania weekend it truly was. So a great way to cap off WrestleMania 33 weekend. It's in the books, and we look forward to New Orleans next year, April 8th, 2018, for WrestleMania 34. Cannot wait. That is it, guys, for my Monday Night Raw review. Be sure to click that like and subscribe button for more video content coming soon to this channel. Leave your comments down below for what you thought of Monday Night Raw. What did you like? What didn't you like? And I will be sure to respond to your comments. So that's it, guys, for my Monday Night Raw review. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Until then, thanks for watching.